Morning, Gary. How are you? Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's just a couple minutes here.
I told Nikki, I said, they shouldn't be surprised if they see a couple of them. I'm just thinking getting out of the lines, you know. I like that toilet thing there.
Oh, yeah,
that is
so his parents were gonna watch that. So I knew they wanted to go somewhere, so I was like, so they used the bathroom. But this was in the time I was like, we didn't give it away. So I found it.
How much? Oh wow, yeah.
It's better than like a seat.
Yeah, no. Not only that, I mean, you know that it's clean. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about the well, that's good. Or have to hold them. Like I used to, the girls were trying to hold them up a little, and then they were trying to get bigger and heavier, you know.
Yeah, even like up to maybe older, like, so we have like a toilet seat, and it has a little thing called down.
Right.
But I even sat on it accidentally. It's weird. It feels weird because the whole like. Right.
All right, we're going to get started here in just another minute.
Are you still on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to testing. And I might go by Old World and get you some bread then.
Victory Road. Never heard of that.
Oh, see, and that's where we a tester.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. You are stuck with me today. Javier is out today. He's having a few medical issues right now that he's dealing with. I'm sure he'll probably share that with you when he gets back. Plus, on top of that, I'm talking to him yesterday on the phone. We're talking about the meeting today. And while I'm talking to him, and Marcella are in the car, parked at on an on-ramp at a meter. And while we're talking, somebody slams into the back of it, and
Oh, man.
What?
yeah, so
Huh.
just not a good week for Javier. So but I believe he'll be back next Saturday. So all right, so today what we're going to talk about, let me get to the right screen here. All right, so you just make sure you can see my screen. All right, can everybody see the graphic that's up that says Refi Now and Refi Possible?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, bear with me because I'm not used to being the host. So I just want to make sure that there's no issues and make sure that you guys can see what we're doing. So this is a new program. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I told you it was coming. Actually, let me do something here real quick. Let me mute everybody. You can unmute yourself. I can figure out how to do this. Well, you know what? I can't. So hopefully if you can mute yourself, I'm not sure how to do it. So I know there's somebody that's not muted. Angie, if you can mute yourself, please. And Adebayo. All right. So this is a program that we talked about a couple weeks ago that was coming, and it's now here, effective today, actually. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit more. So it's called Refi Now. There is a Fannie Mae version and there is a Freddie Mac version. However, the Freddie Mac version doesn't start until August. Fannie Mae version is active as of today. And basically what it allows us to do is for the lower income type borrowers. And what I mean by that is they're 80% of the area median. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if they are within 80% of the area median income for their zip code, and you'll be able to look this up, but it will be determined by DO, which is DU. It's a processor version of DU. If they're within that median income, then they have the ability to do a refinance under these new guidelines. Now it is rate and term only. There's no cash out allowed, but the guidelines are reduced and the pricing is better, and the ratios can be higher, and there's just a lot of things that they're trying to do to help those people refinance into a better rate. So first is the 80% of median income. If the original note amount, now some of you may not even remember about this, but back when COVID hit, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac added a 0.5 point adverse market fee, and that's on all refis. So when you're looking at pricing, it's already built in. If you were to actually pull up the pricing, and you would see the LLPAs, the loan level price adjustments, you would see that whenever you do a refi, there's a refi adverse market fee of a 0.5 point. Okay, so with this Refi Now program, if the loan amount is less than $300,000, that adverse market fee is going to be waived. That's going to help you either get a little bit better pricing, or in some cases, lower your interest rate down by 1/8 to 1/4 for your borrower. It's going to be owner occupied only. Property type is 1 unit, condos and PUD. So if your borrower had a duplex or a triplex or fourplex, It doesn't work for those. It only works for single families, condos, and PUDs. The current loan must be owned or securitized by Fannie Mae. I'll show you how we're going to figure that out here in a moment. And loans must be seasoned for at least 12 months, but no more than 120 months or 10 years. So it has to be at least a year old, and it can't be more than 10 years old. Now, here's the criteria. We have to be lowering the interest rate by 0.5 point. So now the interest rate reduction can be accomplished by the P&I payment or P&I and PMI. In either case, we have to be going down at least $50 as far as monthly payment. Mortgage history, 0 times 30 in the last 6 months. They can have 1 30-day late in the last 12 months. They cannot add a new borrower, but if one of the borrowers has died, then the possibility is still there to be able to refinance. And you just have to be able to show that the remaining borrower has made the last 12 payments out of their own funds. LTV can go up to 95%. If there's a community second, you can still include that and still subordinate that up to 105% CLTV. Your loan amount calculation would include the payoff on the first mortgage and closing costs not to exceed $5,000. Now, our closing costs typically on a refinance are about $4,200, so we're fine in there. Borrowers cannot get back in a regular Fannie Mae rate and term loan. A borrower can get back up to $2,000 and not be considered a cash out. In this case, the borrower cannot get back any more than $250. So it's more like an FHA loan. Anything over, if they were getting back, let's say you miscalculate the loan amount for whatever reason, the borrower is going to get back $700. Instead of that going back to the borrower and go back to a principal reduction. Maximum closing costs allowed are $5,000, which do not affect us. Income, W-2 standard requirement and verbal VOE. On self-employed, they're only going to look at the most recent personal and business returns and get a verbal VOE, make sure that they're still in business. Alimony and child support, most recent 1-month bank statement and signed court order. Military income, we need the military leave and earnings statement. That's the military equivalent of a pay stub. And all other income types must follow the standard agency requirements. And then funds to close, we only have to show 1 month bank statement instead of 2 months bank statement. And if the subject property does not qualify for a PIW, which is a property inspection waiver, then the lender gives a credit for up to $500 to the borrower, basically covering their appraisal report. The LO pays it, the LO would get up to a $500 reimbursement. So it's for the lower type income. It will go down to a 620 FICO score. That's not in here, but that's also one of the guidelines is you have to have a 620 or better FICO score. Let's go back up here. If you look here under resource, and I'm going to make this available if I can figure out how to do it in the chat box. I've shared it before as a participant. I may be able to just share the link to get this. Actually, let's do that. I'll share this link right now. I can do that. All right, so I shared the link, this loan lookup link for Fannie Mae in the chat box. I'm going to show you how that would work. All right. Can everybody see the Fannie Mae website? Somebody give me actually.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. All right, so if you take that link and put it into your web browser, you'll go, takes you to this Fannie Mae website. Down here, you'll see that there's a place to go ahead and complete the information. This is the borrower's, whoever the borrower is. You put in their first and last name, the street address, the city, state, and zip, and the last 4 digits of their social security number. You confirm that you're the owner of the property or have the consent of the owner to look up the information. You hit get results, and it's going to tell you if it's a Fannie Mae owned property. Freddie Mac has the exact same thing. So when Freddie Mac's version of it launches, we'll give you that as well. But this way you can find out if it's a Fannie Mae owned loan. A lot of them are going to be, the bulk of them are going to be Fannie Mae owned. Once you find out if it's Fannie Mae owned, then all you have to do is type in Fannie Mae AMI income limit into your browser. And you'll see here that there's a another lookup tool. And then all you have to do, let's see, for instance, you can put in, let's put in Santa Ana, for instance. And it will tell you, it will show you the boundaries for that median income. And it tells you that the median income for Santa Ana is $86,100. In order to qualify for this loan program, the RefiNow loan program, your borrower would have to be making $68,880 or less. Now, this is all borrowers. So this is the however much they're making now. Between all borrowers on the loan, they cannot exceed $68,880. Okay. But you can look up any zip code. You put the zip code of the property that you're refinancing and any zip code anywhere in the United States, and it will tell you what the area median income. Now, this loan can be done anywhere where we're licensed, which is almost everywhere in the United States. So you're not limited to just California. Okay. So you can use the lookup tool to figure out if it's a Fannie Mae loan. If it is a Fannie Mae loan, just make sure that your income limitations work. And then on the debt to income, you can go up to a 65% debt to income ratio on this program. So you're not limited to the 50% as they were when we, or as we are when we're doing a normal Fannie Mae refinance. All right, so let me open this up to any questions that we have. Anybody have any questions on how this program works or anything about it? Anybody? Well, that was easy. All right, I'm going to go back to this. If you look at the Freddie Mac is almost exactly the same. It just won't be rolling out until August of this year, but we'll be able to do those as well. The main difference on it is 97. They'll go to 97% versus 95%. So they go a little bit higher on single families. And then their ratios are the same, and pretty much everything else is the same for the Freddie Mac version. So if you find out it's not owned by, the loan's not owned by Fannie Mae, there's a good chance it's going to be owned by Freddie Mac. Because if it was a conventional loan, it's going to wind up in one of those two. Typically, anyway, it's going to wind up in one of those two entities. All right. It's a couple other things. Any comments, questions?
Excuse me, Rhett.
Yeah.
I didn't see the link that you dropped in the chat box. Did you? Were you to drop the link in the chat box?
Yeah, I put it. Oh, you know what? Let me see here. Everyone, let me try this again. It looks like it only went to. Give me a second. How about now?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. The controls are a little bit different. Sorry, guys. Controls are a little bit different when you're the host, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So, all right, a couple other things. I know a lot of the people that join us on Saturday are realtors, and I know right now, if you're a realtor working with buyers, you're very frustrated. It's a very difficult time right now, and it's crazy. I have a buddy of mine that he is a real estate broker, but he doesn't really do real estate. He does loans, and he buys and sells property. And whenever he buys and sells a piece of property, he has me handle the real estate for him. And this last week, he called me up and he said, "Hey, I found this property I want to buy. It's in my neighborhood. I'm actually going to move into that property and sell my current one. And it's listed for 1.1 million." And we looked at it and needed a lot of work. It was hadn't been upgraded for a long time, and everything was kind of banged up in it, and it was priced at the upper end of the market. So he's like, what do we need to make an offer of and make sure we get a some kind of a counter? And I said, well, absolute minimum is let's go up a little bit higher. I think it's above what it will appraise for right now already. But why don't we go in at $1,030,000 or $1,130,000 rather? So $30,000 over list price. And so in the meantime, he actually met the listing agent, because the listing agent was handling all showings. The seller wanted the listing agent present for all showings. So he actually met the listing agent, took his parents over, met the listing agent 3 different times just to make sure he knew that he was serious and he was taking notes. And I told him, I said, you got to make yourself unique. Either he represents you, or you have to make sure he knows you and you're serious and you're going to take it to the finish line. So they had several conversations. They really liked each other, and but he didn't want to represent him because the seller was just a real stickler. So I submitted the offer, and 2 days later, I get a phone call in the morning. This was on Thursday, and he said, "Hey, Rhett," he said, "I just wanted to call you personally. You didn't get a counter offer, and I really like Mike. I was hoping that he was going to be able to get the property, but to be honest with you, we're going into escrow at 1.3 million. We're $200,000 over list price." And they've waived the appraisal, they've waived the inspection, they're coming in with 40% down. It's crazy, and wasn't anything I could do. I said, "Hey, I get it. I understand. Congratulations, more power to you guys. If there's any issues, let me know." But this market is just insane. And I know if you're a realtor right now and you're dealing with buyers, you're experiencing this all the time. It's very difficult right now to go out there and try and caravan your buyers around and find a property. that you can make an offer on, number one, because the inventory is so low. And then number two, you make the offer and you're not even hearing back. You don't even get a response. You know, almost everything right now is coming in over list price. I just had to call a buyer yesterday and let them know their appraisal came in $25,000 short from what they had offered. And I said, you know, what do you want to do? Because their offer had no appraisal contingency. And they said, well, you know, it is what it is. We're still going to buy the property. And, you know, that's what's happening. And because of all that, prices are just going crazy. And we're not anticipating that to change anytime soon. So a little bit about how this is working. You've got more 27 to 33-year-olds right now coming into that age gap than any time in history. And you've got all this consumer confidence going on. So you've got all the millennials, you've got all the baby boomers, the people that lost the homes back in 2008, 2009, 2010, and moved back in with their parents. They're now wanting to buy houses. You've got all these people hitting the market. Literally millions of people in right now and over the next couple of years, 3 to 4 years actually, are going to be hitting the market, and it's driving these prices. And before, when this happened before, you know, interest rates were keeping demand a little bit lower because interest rates are 4 to 5%. But right now, interest rates are at some of their all-time low. You know, we're still seeing conventional loans at low 3s, FHA in the mid 2s. And until that changes, we're going to continue to see these drastic price increases. Now, the way when an appraiser goes out to appraise a property, one of the big no-nos for an appraiser is to bring in the value higher than the highest comp for the area. It's very difficult to do this. It's very difficult to justify bringing in the value of a property higher than anything else. There has to be something that allows for that. Now, that being said, as these offers are coming in and these escrows are closing over the list or over the appraised value, over the list price, if you will, this is driving prices up. So oftentimes, you know, you may look at comps when you're writing an offer and the highest comp is $650,000. By the time the appraiser gets out there, there may have been something else closed at 675 or 680 or 700,000. And this is how these prices continue to go up and up and up. I'm going to say something that may surprise you, but the truth of the matter is we should be hoping and praying for higher interest rates, because if interest rates continue to stay low like they are right now, this isn't going to stop. We are basically pricing ourselves out of the market. We're pricing a lot of our buyers completely out of the market right now. And I know we love the idea of having low interest rates. Believe me, I mean, I love being able to offer these interest rates to people. And it has spurred a tremendous refi boom over the last year and a half. It has definitely slowed down over the last 4 or 5 weeks. We're seeing refi applications dramatically lower. More purchase applications are lower as well, but nothing like refi. I think a few months ago, I told you that there was this new branch that joined us, that joined HMAC, and they were just killing it. You know, we'd always been number 1, and all of a sudden we were number 2, and I'm like, who are these guys? And they were just killing it. They're gone now. here's 6-7 months later, whatever it is, they're gone. They went from doing a huge amount of volume to literally nothing because the refi market, went away, and all of their business was, they were getting all of their business by advertising. They were spending a ton of money on leads, and they were getting all these refis. They weren't doing any purchase business, and they fizzled out. They're no longer anywhere on the on the leaderboard. So, and I'm not saying that because we're number one again. We are, but it's not about that. It's just because of the way we do business. We've always talked about. I mean, Javier, every time he teaches a marketing class and teaches us about how to get leads and how to get prospects and generate business, it's either free or almost free. So we're not spending a lot of money, and we're doing a lot of relationship type marketing, and most of our people are realtors. So we get a good percentage of our business has always been purchase business. And because of that, we're able to survive these dips. I've been doing this since 1989, and I've always made sure I associated with a lot of realtors. I'm the between Rose and I, we're the go-to people for probably close to 8 or 10 realtors that we know if they're going to take a deal into escrow, or if they've got a listing. I got one realtor right now. She's got 5 listings, and she will not take an offer from anybody unless it's been run by me. It either has to be cross-qualified, or if the people want to come to her directly, she makes them get pre-approved by me, because she knows if we pre-approve them, we're going to close that deal. And that's what you want. You want to build those relationships, because you can't afford to be in a position where, I know that they had spent a ton of money, and when the market went up 0.5 point, 6-8 weeks ago, whatever it was, they literally lost their entire pipeline. And I've seen this happen before, where and if you look at the big guys, their production is down 65% right now. So everybody's hurting that does this for as a business model. It's just very difficult. And so in the long run, this could help us, because we're looking at pre-qualifying and pre-approving buyers. And quite frankly, when the interest rates go up 1/4 point or 0.5 point, most buyers are still going to qualify. And all they want to know is, hey, can I still buy the house? And, how much did my payment go up? Your payment went up $150. Do I still qualify? Yes. Then I still want to buy the house. So you want to, whenever possible, be generating those purchase leads. Now, we are getting ready here in California to open back up from all the COVID restrictions. So June 15th, 10 more days, all restrictions are off. What does that mean? Well, what it means to me, and what it means to some of our guys like Eliseo and a few other people, is we're going back to open houses. Prior to COVID, Eliseo was consistently, Eliseo is my brother-in-law, Rose's brother. He's one of our top loan officers, and he was consistently closing 6 to 8 deals a month just from his open house business. And that's not all purchases. They were refis and purchases. But he always had a huge database of people that he was in contact with. And when the open house market basically dried up because of COVID, his production fell, but he still was doing refis and some pre-approvals, but nothing like what he was doing before. So he obviously he's excited because he knows that his database is going to be packed up again, and a lot of those people that went on hold are coming back in the market. And you know, it's right now the problem is just finding the inventory, and we don't anticipate that changing much. If interest rates go up, it will help. It will help you realtors for sure, because it will get things more back in line, shall we say. And we are anticipating interest rates to go up, not a lot, but we do think they'll probably go up some, you know, during this year, probably about 0.5 point. And hopefully that will be enough to curtail the craziness and insane stuff that's going on out there. But because there are so many people, and this is anticipated, just so you know, if you look at all the supposed smart people out there, they're saying that this influx of buyers is going to last through 2024. Now, of course, a lot of those same people said that interest rates were going to stay under 3% through 2022. Who knows? Excuse me. But we just have to be cognizant of what's going on. Make sure your buyers are pre-approved before you take them out and start showing them. That one realtor who had has the 5 listings, she had sent a buyer to me, and they were all hot and bothered and just calling her like crazy. And I was waiting for them to send me over their documents. I had to call her yesterday and say, don't bother, because the wife only has a 4-month work history, and the husband is only making $3,000 a month. There's nothing I can do for them right now. So instead of spending time with these people, she's able to just throw them to me, and I can call them out and figure out who qualifies, who doesn't, and save them a lot of time. So it's going to save you a lot of time and effort in pre-approving your own buyers. But if you're also approving other realtors' buyers, it will help them as well. And quite frankly, we're to a point right now that you can easily write 25-day, maybe even 21-day offers if we've already done the pre-approval, and go with a 15-day loan contingency removal. Now, the only thing that may hinder that, excuse me, is appraisal. Appraisal times right now are very difficult. Southern California is not too bad, but what we're seeing right now is from inspection date, not from order date, from inspection date to delivery date, we've seen as many as 7 business days. Typically, it's 4 to 5 business days. In a normal market, it's 2. But right now, it's 4 to 5 business days, up to 7 business days, just to get the appraisal after it's been inspected. So it's important, if we're going, if you're going into escrow, make sure we've got the financials, we've done the pre-approval, and we're ready to rock and roll on that, getting the disclosures out, because we cannot order the appraisal until the disclosures have been signed. And typically, escrow won't give us a fee sheet until the buyer has put in their deposit. Now, if we know going in, if you call me and say, hey, Rhett, I had to take the appraisal contingency and the inspection contingency down to 10 days, can we meet it? Then what I'm going to tell you is yes, however, I'm going to disclose based upon generic fees, and those generic fees are going to be about 20 to 25% higher than what the real fees are going to be. So you need to make sure your buyer is prepared that when they see those numbers to disregard them because they're not real, but we have to disclose with generic numbers, and they have to be artificially high because there's some of those numbers that cannot be changed. And if you're escrow or title company, we know what our fees are. Those fees aren't going to change. But we have escrow and title companies from one to another on a $600,000 deal. I've seen the difference of $1,700, so almost $2,000 in fees difference from one title and escrow company to another title and escrow company. So we have to go with what the maximum it could be, and then when we get the final, when we do get the finally do get the fees from escrow, that can be adjusted, and then when we send out the LE, those new fees is what will show up on the LE, the loan estimate, and the CD, the closing disclosure. But we don't always do that. If you don't tell us we're in a hurry, if we haven't reduced contingency timeframes, we're typically just going to wait for the escrow company to send us the fee sheet. That way, when the buyer gets that initial disclosure, it's fairly accurate. It's going to be pretty close to what the final will be. But if we need to get everything moving quickly, we're trying to close sooner than usual, or contingencies or whatever the case may be, please make sure you let me know that, and I will make sure those disclosures go out when the new system hits, which it's still I'm still hearing that we're going to be ready to go on June 15th. When that new system hits, it automatically will use generic fees, but everything happens that first day. Disclosures go out, appraisal gets ordered, literally everything. And at that point, for sure, there's no reason why you won't be able to dramatically reduce all the contingency timeframes, dramatically reduce your closing time, down to, 21 days, maybe even as low as 17 days. Because I will tell you, like I said I think it was last week or the week before, our back end times have just dramatically decreased. I mean, we can now confidently say if our approval conditions are going back into underwriting today, in the morning, by tonight, docs will be in escrow. I mean, it is moving laser speed now on the back end. So we are very excited about that, very happy about that. And we are working constantly, and we are, because some of you don't know, we are HMAC's first branch. We're the founding branch, and we've always been in the top 2 producing branches. And so we have a lot of pull with corporate, and so we spend a lot of time with corporate developing things that they get a good feeling from us as to what we need, and they have really outperformed themselves these last few months, giving us what our wish list was. So we got a few more things on the wish list that we're working on, and we'll make you aware of that as things happen. I am tired of talking, so any questions, comments, concerns, anything from anybody? All right, so what I would ask of you now is this weekend, keep Javier in your prayers, and he is definitely going through some stuff that I'm sure he will share with you at a later time, but he needs our prayers and good thoughts, and good thoughts out into the universe. And you guys have a wonderful weekend, and let's go out next week and make it a great week. This week, as I mentioned to you, over the last month or so, production has been down quite a bit. This last week, that has completely made a turnaround. I have pre-approved so many buyers this week. I'm back to I'm back to the 3 months ago when I was busy that I think I probably pre-approved in 9 or 10 buyers this week. And last week it was 2, to give you an idea. So a big difference. So I'm excited about what's happening right now with all of the everything that we're doing at corporate and everything we're doing on the back end. It's very exciting to be able to. It helps us in setting up our close dates a lot easier. So let's just go out there and make next week a great week. But keep Javier in your prayers. Send up some good thoughts. And one more chance. Anybody have anything? All right. You guys have a great weekend.